So the atomic mass of each element is listed in the periodic table. And what that atomic mass is it is an average of the masses of that element that you would find on Earth. Okay, so it doesn't mean that absolutely every chlorine atom would have an atomic mass of 35.545. It's just an average. So if we take that chlorine for an example, naturally occurring chlorine consists of what you would naturally find 75.77% of the chlorine you would find would be chlorine 35, which has a mass of 34.97 atomic mass units. And then the other 24.23% of chlorine you would find would be chlorine 37, which has a mass of 36.97 atomic mass units. So to find the actual mass for chlorine, what you're going to do is you're going to take the 75.77 out of percentage form and put it in decimal form. So 0.7577 times the atomic mass units, okay, so times 34.97, and you're going to add that to the other naturally occurring chlorine, so 0.2423 times the atomic mass units for that, so 36.97, and you're going to add those together and you end up with 35.45 atomic mass units. So there is another good problem in the, I think it's called pre-lecture for atomic mass, and it's one of your homework assignments, and there's a video that you get to follow with somebody explaining the problem, and you get to do a similar one like this. So that's good extra help for you. That you are taking, or to find the atomic mass of an element, you're going to take the percentage, the fraction of the first isotope times the mass of that isotope, the fraction of the second isotope times the mass of the isotope, and if there's a third isotope, you'll do the same there and add them all up together. So that is how we ended up with this, okay? Just change that percentage into decimal form times the mass, and then you just add them all up together. Good job. All right, let's try one here. So gallium has two naturally occurring isotopes, gallium-69 with a mass of 68.9256 AMU, okay, and a natural abundance of 60.11%. And then the other one is gallium-71 with an atomic mass unit of 70.9247 and a natural abundance of 39.89. So basically what that means is 67% of the gallium that you'll find would be this gallium-69. And the other 39.89% would be the gallium-71. All right, so if we're going to determine the atomic mass, you guys are going to take your percentages and turn them into decimal form. So 60.11% divided by 100 is 0.6011. And then 39.89%, you divide that by 100, you end up with 0.3989. Okay, now you're going to take the decimal form, so 0.6011, and use that atomic mass unit for that one. Okay, so 68.9256, multiply those, and then your next portion is to take your 0.3989, right? That's this guy here that we calculated from our percentage of 39.89, and we're going to multiply that by the atomic mass of that, so this one here, okay? So there you go. Multiply those out, you end up with 41.4312 AMU plus 28.2919 AMU, and what pops out into your calculator is 69.7231 We would want this to 2 significant figures because that is the one that is our least amount of significant figures in our equation. And so your actual answer would be 69.72 atomic mass units. It's important to note that some isotopes are radioactive. So the nuclei of some isotopes of a given element are not stable. These atoms emit a few energetic subatomic particles from their nuclei and change into different isotopes of different elements. The emitted subatomic particles are called nuclear radiation, and the isotopes that emit them are called radioactive. Okay. Nuclear radiation can be harmful to humans and other living organisms because the energetic particles interact with and damage biological molecules. Some isotopes, such as lead-185, emit significant amounts of radiation only for a very short time. Other ones, like Pu-239, remain radioactive for a long time, thousands, millions, or even billions of years. Radioactive isotopes are not always harmful. Many have beneficial uses. Technetium-99 is often given to patients to diagnose disease, and it also helps doctors image internal organs or detect infection. Just to review a little bit, starting with atomic theory, matter is composed of small indestructible particles. Dalton said that matter is composed of atoms. Atoms of a given element have unique properties that distinguish them from atoms of other elements. Atoms combine in simple whole number ratios to form compounds. The nuclear model of the atom. So the atom is composed of protons and neutrons, which compose most of the atom's mass and are grouped together in the dense nucleus. Electrons comprise most of the atom's volume because they spread out on the outside there. Protons and neutrons have similar masses, 1 atomic mass unit, while electrons have much smaller masses. Protons and electrons both have electrical charge. The proton is a +1 and the electron is a -1. Neutrons have no charge. When protons and electrons combine in air, their charges cancel. Combine in atoms, their charges cancel. Many of the machines and computers we depend on are powered by electricity, which is the movement of electrical charge. All right, so the periodic table. It tabulates all known elements in order of increasing atomic number. The columns of elements have similar properties called groups or families. Elements on the left side are metals. They tend to lose electrons when they go under chemical change. Elements in the upper right are nonmetals, and they tend to gain electrons when they undergo chemical changes. And then elements in between the two are the metalloids or semimetals. The atomic number, this is the characteristic that defines the element and is the number of protons in the nuclei of the atom. This is called atomic number Z. All right, let's see what else we have here. Now that my phone is not buzzing anymore. Let me make this go down a little bit so you can see it all. Okay, here we go. I got rid of part of it, but that'll be okay. All right, ions. When atoms gain or lose electrons, they become an ion. Positively charged ions are cations. Negatively charged ions are anions. Cations and anions occur together so that matter is charge neutral. For isotopes, atoms of the same element with different numbers of neutrons are called isotopes. Isotopes are characterized by their mass number and the sum of the protons and the neutrons in the nucleus. Each naturally occurring sample of most elements has the same percentage natural abundance of each isotope. The atomic mass of an element is a weighted average of the masses of the individual isotopes. So the atomic mass that you find on the periodic table might not be the mass of every single, say, sodium atom or chlorine atom, but it's an average mass. Okay, so that is everything that we are learning for this chapter. There is the PowerPoints if you guys want to go through them yourself, and a couple of good videos in the homework assignments. But other than that, that should do it. I think you guys did a good job, and you can let me know if you have any questions. All right, have a great day.